What is about to become visible in your life is going to stop people mid-sentence, mid-assumption, and mid-judgment about who they believed you were. The transformation that has been happening quietly inside you, the one no one fully witnessed, the one you built in private through discipline, through pain, through deliberate and unglamorous daily choices, is about to surface in a way that the people around you are completely unprepared for. They built an image of you based on who you were during your most limited season, and that image is about to be shattered by the undeniable reality of who you have actually become. Across the entire recorded landscape of spiritual history, the emergence of a transformed soul has always been treated as one of the most significant and disruptive events that can occur within a human community. Ancient wisdom traditions describe it as the moment the caterpillar is no longer recognizable as what it once was. A complete identity shift so total and so visible that it forces everyone who knew the former version to reckon with what transformation actually means. This kind of emergence has only ever happened to souls who were willing to do the work of becoming in complete obscurity, without applause, without confirmation, and without any guarantee that the results would ever be seen. There was a season, not long ago, where you made the most important decision of your transformation. You chose to invest in yourself when everything around you was demanding that you stay the same. You chose to develop your mind, your discipline, and your character when the people nearest to you saw no evidence that it was working. You chose to hold a vision of yourself that had no external confirmation yet, and you protected that vision from the opinions of people who could only see your past. That decision, to become someone new in private before anyone could acknowledge it publicly, was the seed from which everything now emerging was grown, both dark forces and divine. Intelligence have been watching your transformation unfold with intense and competing interest. Darkness invested heavily in keeping you identified with your former self. It sent people who only referenced your past, created circumstances that tried to pull you back into old patterns, and orchestrated moments designed to convince you that change wasn't real or permanent for someone like you. Divine intelligence was watching with focused anticipation, tracking every private decision you made to grow. Every morning you chose discipline over comfort. Every moment you chose your future self over the version of you that others were still expecting to see show up. There was a time when someone from your past tried to remind you of your old identity in a way designed to keep you anchored there, and instead of arguing or explaining, you simply smiled and kept moving. There was a period when you could have revealed your growth loudly to prove something to people who doubted you, and you chose instead to let the results build quietly. There was a moment when an old habit presented itself with unusual force, and you recognized it, declined it, and reaffirmed the new standard you had set for yourself. There was a season when becoming someone new felt lonely, and you did it anyway. In the celestial system that monitors and records human transformation, there is a designation given only to souls who complete a full identity reconstruction from the inside out, those who become genuinely new rather than simply adjusted. You have just received that designation. Higher intelligences who observe the full arc of human lives have classified you as an emergent soul, one whose internal transformation has reached a level of completion that makes external manifestation not only inevitable, but imminent. This classification carries with it a kind of spiritual gravity that announces itself before the person does, preparing every room and every person for an encounter with someone who is no longer who they were. At the precise moment, your transformation crossed the threshold of completion. When the new version of you became more real and more stable than the old one, something extraordinary was recorded in dimensions beyond ordinary perception. The archangels who witnessed the pivotal moments of human lives turned their full attention toward what you had just accomplished. The infinite intelligence that governs all things observed the completed work of your becoming and recognized it as something worth full divine acknowledgement. In the sacred records of every mystical tradition, this moment is described as the crowning, when heaven places its seal on a soul that has done the work of genuine transformation and is now ready to be revealed. This is the decree being issued over your life at this moment by the authority that governs identity, purpose, and destiny across all dimensions of existence. The former version of you, the limited, doubted, underestimated version that others built their assumptions around, is being officially and permanently retired by divine order. What replaces it is not a slightly improved edition of who you were, but a fundamentally different identity that carries different authority, different access, and a different level of impact on every environment it enters. This decree cannot be reversed by the memories of people who knew your former self, by your own moments of doubt, or by any force that benefited from your limitation. You were never the version of yourself that your most difficult seasons produced. You are an ancient soul who came into this life carrying a blueprint for a specific kind of person, one that could only be built through the precise sequence of experiences you have walked through. You are a chosen one whose true identity was always going to emerge, whose transformation was always going to become visible, and whose crown was always going to become impossible to ignore. The person who is about to shock the people around you is not someone new. It is who you actually are, finally free from the layers that were placed over you by circumstance, by others, and by your own former understanding of yourself. Your mission as your true identity becomes visible is not to perform for the people who are about to be surprised by you. It is to demonstrate consistently and without arrogance what disciplined, purposeful transformation actually produces. You are being revealed so that others who are in the middle of their own invisible becoming can see that the process works, that private growth becomes public reality, and that the version of themselves they are quietly working toward is worth every uncomfortable and unwitnessed moment of the journey. Your assignment is to wear your transformation with enough humility that it invites rather than intimidates, and with enough confidence that it inspires rather than apologizes. Because your true identity has now been officially activated and decreed, the material world is beginning to rearrange itself around who you actually are, rather than who people assumed you to be. Opportunities that were calibrated for your former self are being replaced by opportunities that match your actual current capacity. Relationships that were built on the old version of you are being renegotiated by the universe, some deepening, some dissolving, all being reorganized around your new frequency. Resources, visibility, and access that were previously unavailable to the person others thought you were are now becoming available to the person you have actually become, and the pace of that availability is accelerating. As your new identity becomes impossible to conceal, something will begin happening in the people around you that you did not plan or engineer. Those who watched you transform in silence will begin questioning what is possible for their own lives. Those who underestimated you will begin privately reconsidering the standards they set for themselves. Those who are in the early stages of their own transformation will feel permission rising in them simply because they are watching someone they know complete the process successfully. You will not need to teach or preach. The visible evidence of who you have become will do more to awaken the people around you than any words you could construct. You are not the only soul stepping into a revealed identity in this season. Across the world right now, thousands of people who spent years transforming in private, who built new identities without an audience, who chose growth without guaranteed recognition, are stepping into the same moment of emergence simultaneously. This is coordinated, a global revealing of souls who were each prepared separately and are now becoming visible together, each one in their own sphere. Each one carrying a transformation that their immediate world was not fully prepared to witness. You are connected to every one of them through the shared experience of becoming someone extraordinary in complete and deliberate obscurity. If this message confirms something you already knew about yourself but had not yet fully claimed, then claim it right now with action. Comment 777 below immediately. It is the public declaration of a soul that has accepted its new identity and is no longer willing to shrink back into the version of itself that others found more comfortable. Share this with the one person who appeared in your mind while you were listening, because they may be standing at the exact threshold of their own revealing and need only this confirmation to step through it. Subscribe and remain close, because the next message speaks directly to how to navigate the world as the person you have now officially become.